I love Spider-Man. I love everything about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man movies, TV shows, video games, his crazy cast of villains. I love that anyone can wear the mask. Let's go back to the beginning. Spider-Man is a fictional superhero created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He first appeared in an anthology comic book called Amazing Fantasy before eventually getting his own series in the early 1960s. Thanks, Wikipedia. We follow a high schooler named Peter Parker, which was revolutionary for its time, because before this point there had been no comic books where a teenager was the main protagonist. Up to this point, any teenager in a comic book would be the sidekick of the main character, such as Robin or Bucky, but not Spider-Man. Spider-Man is different from any other hero as we see him as an underdog, an everyman. This is what I love about Spider-Man so much, that everyman quality that lets his fans put themselves in his shoes and feel like we can be heroes, just like Spider-Man. Anyone can wear the mask. Anyone who knows Spider-Man well has probably at least checked out the Amazing Spider-Man series. No, not you. This comic series was the original for our webhead. We follow a teenager named Peter Benjamin Parker, who is a total nerd who goes to high school and lives with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. This is brilliant. Making Peter this big geek is perfect because the story does not work as well if Peter was just this buff guy from the start. This lets us think that if a nerd can make a difference, we can make a difference too. Anyone can wear the mask. Anyways, Peter is bitten by a radioactive spider and is given the ability to be more agile and strong. He can also stick to walls just like a spider can. He uses his scientific background to make web shooters that allow him to swing through the city. Sorry, Amy, it's not through his skin. Going back to New York. New York is the perfect setting for a hero like Spider-Man. New York is filled with tall buildings that allow Spider-Man to swing through the city. Spider-Man stories who have made New York just as much of a character as Spider-Man are always so powerful to me. For example, the train scene of Spider-Man 2, which many see as the best Spider-Man movie. Until this banger came around, of course. Don't worry, Miles, we'll get to you soon. In this scene, Spider-Man stops a train through sheer force of will and determination. He uses every ounce of him to save these people he's never even met because he's a fucking hero. He's knocked unconscious and almost falls to his death, but he's caught. The New Yorkers catch him and carry him to the back of the train. They save him, just like how he saved them. Anyone can be a hero. Anyone can wear the mask. Now in this video, I've talked a lot about how anyone can wear the mask, but up to this point, we've only talked about Peter. Writers probably realized this and created someone else to put on the mask. They created another Spider-Man. In 2011, they created Miles Morales, a teenager from New York who gets bit by a radioactive spider, just like Peter. Miles is different from Peter as he's not as nerdy and he's a little cooler, but he still has that everyman quality that's so important to the heart of Spider-Man stories. We see Miles scared and not completely sure of what to do and how to live up to the Spider-Man that New York has already fallen in love with. I loved how this was handled in the Miles Morales video game. Insomniac just understands Spider-Man in a way that no other video game series has. While I thought the first Spider-Man game was better, I still love the themes behind the side story for Miles. The whole point of this game is to win over a city who already knows and loves their Spider-Man. Miles has to prove that he can be just as competent as Peter has been in this series. One of the last scenes of the game is the people of New York protecting Miles and his true identity. They save him, just like he saved them, just like that train scene in Spider-Man 2. This is why this character is so special to me. It doesn't matter who's under the mask. Anyone can be a hero. This story is something we can all relate to. Feeling like we can't live up to expectations society puts on us is a very human thing, and something that everyone goes through. Everyone can relate to Miles. Everyone can relate to Spider-Man. Anyone can wear the mask.